What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shuggie from Sugar's Media, and today I thought we'd have a fun get to know you segment about my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. Now, I have them on a list here. This is in no particular order. I don't typically like top 5s or anything like that, or ordering stuff. I mean, it is fun to talk about, but these are always in flux. I'm always open to new shows. You ask me on different days, I might give you a different list. But today, this is the list I wrote. So, first on the list is Breaking Bad. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. I love this show so much. I mean, the writing is so strong, and the characters and the acting, but most importantly, the cinematography. I mean, this show might be the reason I went to film school. How inventive they were with the camera. How they always had new techniques. They had glass they'd put in front of the camera. They would mount cameras to a shovel that Jesse was carrying and all these things. And I'm reading about the background of the show and how they wrote it week to week, but it really felt like they didn't. Like they had this plan this whole time, even though they didn't. They just have really smart writers, and the fact that it stays grounded and never leaves the realm of real life, and how everything feels so plausible, and there's a lot of unexpected things that happen, and the symbolism of all the characters, and the fact that each character breaks bad in their own way, even though the women and all that, and all the characters are so well acted and cast, and everything is just so great. I love that show so much. I really like the drama aspect even more than the action, but the thrilling action has so much more impact when it's not every episode. When it's once in a blue moon something crazy happens, the 1 minute episode. So many episodes have these amazing action scenes in them, but the drama is what we're here for. The science of change, as it were, watching this character Walt transform from a milquetoast chemistry teacher into a brutal empire that he builds towards the end. And yeah, just incredible characters, and it's a lot of fun. I really love that show. Okay, next on the list, we have Mad Men. Now, I'm a sucker for these historical dramas. I love the period piece aspect and seeing history as the people that lived through it might see it. And, I mean, the production design is absolutely incredible. It's not just going through a catalog from the 60s and being that. No, it's stuff from the 40s and 50s and 60s. I mean, it's very realistic in how they dress the sets, because it's not just furniture from the 60s, it's furniture from before then. And it's taken a realistic approach to the set designs and the filmmaking, and I really appreciate that. And these characters are so complex. They are neither good nor evil. They have fundamental flaws. They make a lot of mistakes. They commit crimes. They do terrible things, but they are still interesting. Over time, they learn and they grow, and then they fall back into their old habits, and then they change right back to how they were, and then they learn again. It's just this ebb and flow, and it's just a very profound view of human nature, and I really appreciate the realism of how they approach the characterization. So it's a very memorable show, and I'm a guy that likes genre fiction. I like sci-fi, fantasy, I love action, I love all that stuff, but really what it boils down to for me is I want great characters, I want great writing. And that is what Mad Men brings in spades. I mean, this is the great American novel on television. When it was on, an incredible show. I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's one of my favorite shows of all time. Next, on a similar vein, we have Downton Abbey. This is a new addition to the list because I only just recently started watching it, and I only just finished watching it a couple days ago. But this is without a doubt, one of my favorite shows. It deserves a spot on this top 5 list, for the same reasons I like Mad Men. I'm a sucker for this historical drama, and seeing the demise of the upper class in the time period that it takes place, and all the historical events and how they affect this household in England, in Yorkshire, and the characters Again, neither fully good nor fully bad. There's no like straight up villain. There are some characters that stand out, but even the characters that are villainous, they make you care about them at certain points. They make you see things from their perspective, and there's never just a simplistic black and white view to almost any situation. It's very well written, and I mean, you got Lady Grantham's one of my favorite characters of all time, and she's got so many clever quips, and she's played by the actress who played Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter series, and this is her best role ever, and one of my favorite characters of all time, and her relationship with Miss Crawley, and even though they are like diametrically opposed on practically every issue, they manage to stay friends, and watching their relationship grow over time is just so entertaining. More stuff happens in one episode than most shows have in a season, and it's just this brisk pace, but nothing feels rushed at the same time. Everything is given its due diligence, and it's just a profound view of human nature. Again, this is somebody that can write upper class, lower class, everything in between, and these people are very complicated. They have a lot of flaws, and they also grow over time. And it's just it's written by one guy. Julian Fellows wrote every episode. There's co-writes on credits on 2 episodes in the first season, but other than that, he wrote every single episode himself, which is mind-blowing to me. I mean, writing 8 episodes a year that are that dense, that detailed, that well constructed. There's not a minute wasted on the show, and I couldn't recommend it enough. So if you like historical drama and you're looking for something a little different, definitely check it out. Okay, next on the list we got Twin Peaks. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. This is the one show on this list that leaves the realm of reality and has supernatural aspects to it. It was unique in the grammar of television in the fact that it has David Lynch's characteristic surrealism, and it was one of the first shows to have like a continuing through line in this serialized manner. So just for that impact on television alone, I really appreciate it. It feels like something that shouldn't have existed in the time that it existed. I mean, this is a time when there were only, was there even 4 networks yet? I mean, there's only a few networks on TV, and ABC took this risk to do something extremely different that wasn't really on television like that at the time. I mean, this is a horror show, a surreal show, a mystery show, a serialized drama. I mean, all these things come together in a unique package that there's anything like it on television. It's a huge ensemble cast, very complex plots, and something that, again, it's hard to find it even today, things like this. So it's a very interesting show that I really like. I mean, there's a great cast, and I really like the surrealism aspects and the weirdness of the Black Lodge and people talking backwards and like weird, crazy stuff happening, and it's really great. Now, the show did lose its way a little bit in the second season. ABC forced them to reveal the mystery of who murdered Laura Palmer. They were forced to reveal that, and then after that, the show kind of started to lose its way. And it did come back towards the end. They had this really cool Wyndham Earl storyline and an amazing finale and a cliffhanger that was not resolved until, was it 25 years later? And this is why I don't know that the show would be on the list if it wasn't for Twin Peaks: The Return, which is only a few years old now. It was on Showtime. If you've seen the original show and you haven't watched this yet, check it out now. Get a free trial of Showtime and watch this. That's how I did. I got the Blu-rays now because I love it so much. It's a very well-made conclusion, and it's very different. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of the same comedy aspects. It does have a lot of humor in it, but it's a lot darker. It's a lot more mysterious, and there's definitely a progression of the story, and it feels like this is how it was meant to be all along. Like, we all wanted season 3 right away, but I'm almost glad that it didn't happen originally and that they were able to spend this time and work on, again, a very complex ending and a lot of the crazy surrealism, and you get to see the overarching supernatural narrative that's going on. You get to see a little bit more about that. And there's a lot of horrifying stuff. I mean, they did a lot of stuff they wouldn't have been able to do on TV back then. There's a lot of gore and a lot of very crazy stuff. So now this show doesn't necessarily have the same like complex view of human nature that I was describing in previous things. There's a lot more black and white, but the other surrealism aspects and the quirkiness of the characters and the humor of the show, and just how it's also like a parody of soap operas at the time, as well as being a drama of its own right. So all these factors combine to create this unique package. And again, of all the revivals that I've seen of past shows from past years, Twin Peaks: The Return is creme de la creme. It is the best of all of the returns that I've seen. So, highly recommend it. Now, last on the list, we've got The Sopranos, one of my favorite shows of all time. Again, as you can see, I like that these complex characters that are neither wholly good nor wholly bad. Now, Tony Soprano, I would say, is a bit more of a straightforward villain. I mean, like, Walter White is also a villain of similar vein, but we don't necessarily get that same transformation. But where the complexity comes in is this therapist that he's going to see that is, like, the bookends of most episodes, and just a very interesting cast. Again, I mean, this is a lot of evil characters doing evil things, but you get to see a greater complexity to them, and you get to see what they really care about, and the good aspects of all of them as well as the evil aspects. You get to see the family Tony Soprano and get to see how there's more under the surface than you realize what's going on. And I'm one of the few people that will defend the ending. I can understand why it made people mad at the time, but if you go back and watch it again, I mean, the penultimate episode very much sets up what happens at the end, and the fact that people are confused by it actually confuses me a little bit. Like, were you paying attention to the previous episode when they were talking about a deer that gets shot, and he's like, oh, do you wonder if you see it coming at the end? Foreshadowing, maybe? I mean, to me, it's so obvious, but then again, I was spoiled about the ending before I saw it, so maybe that's why. It got people talking, man. It was different, so I really appreciate that about the ending. And I really like the complexity of the characters and the cultural aspect, the fact that the Italian culture was very well represented, and the food and everything, and it brings this unique character to the show, and there's nothing quite like it on television. Again, I mean, the fact that it was informed by so many gangster movies that we've all liked in the past. I mean, The Godfather and so many others, The Goodfellas and stuff like that. But this has its own unique spin on it, so it doesn't feel like a retread. In the final season, we get a little bit more spiritual, philosophical, and there's a lot more complexity underneath what's going on. And even without that, it's still interesting, but adding that aspect in really helped. So the final season, a lot of the creator of Mad Men worked on The Sopranos as well. So he actually got hired by The Sopranos showrunner by showing his pilot for Mad Men. So that's how he got hired, and he went on to create Mad Men after. So again, great show, absolutely love it, and that's my list. That's my top 5 shows of all time. Again, I'd said I like genre TV shows, but no genre TV shows except for Twin Peaks. Maybe if you, I guess you could call it that. It's like a horror show kind of, but you know, it's the complexity of characters and the quality of their writing that gets me more than anything else, as well as the quality of filmmaking. These are all cinematic quality shows, so it's very important to me. The writing and the cinematic quality, that's what I look for, and the quality of the performances as well, and yeah, the writing of the characters and all that. That's what I like. So I thought this was a fun video to show you guys a little bit more about me, what I like, and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You can put your top 5 shows of all time if you like. Whatever you want to talk about, I would love to hear from you. But yeah, if you like this video, please smash subscribe, smash like, and all that. And I hope to see you on the next video. Alright, it's been your boy Shuggie, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.